let's jump right into this. Today we're embarking on a deep dive. It's into some really fascinating and, frankly, pretty startling connections between America's past and its present. We're taking a close look at family histories, inherited wealth, and the ongoing legacy of slavery. We're using that stack of genealogical reports, economic analyses, and scholarly commentary you've shared with us.
Exactly. And the mission really is to understand how that historical institution, slavery, how it still shapes economic disparities today, and also what maybe radical solutions are being proposed to address these really deep-seated issues. It's about connecting those dots then to now.
Yeah, pulling on those threads. And here's where it gets really interesting, I think. The sources highlight these personal connections for a lot of well-known American figures. For example, TV chef Paula Deen, her great-great-great-grandfather owned a Georgia plantation, had 35 enslaved people.
Wow.
And CNN's Anderson Cooper, he learned his great-great-great-grandfather held at least 12 people in bondage.
It's quite direct, isn't it?
It is. And even like country star Reba McEntire, her 4X great-grandfather owned 10 slaves and apparently traded enslaved children as property.
And what's fascinating, or maybe revealing, is how widespread this inheritance of advantage really is. It goes right into our political figures, too.
Oh, yeah.
Genealogists have documented this. President Obama's white mother's ancestors, for instance, owned slaves in Kentucky.
Okay.
President George W. Bush's family traces back to a colonial-era slave trader, conducted at least 11 slave voyages.
11 voyages?
Yeah. And then there was that 2023 Reuters investigation. It found that every living U.S. president except Donald Trump is a descendant of slave owners.
Every single one except Trump. That includes President Biden.
Including President Biden, yeah. And it's in Congress today, too. Over 100 members, the sources say, have documented slaveholding ancestors.
Wow.
Like Senator Elizabeth Warren. Her great-great-great-grandfather apparently enslaved 14 people.
So, okay. These are some pretty direct ancestral links for a lot of influential people. What do the sources say this all means for the here and now?
Yeah.
How does this history translate into today's economic reality?
Well, the pattern described is pretty clear. Slavery fundamentally enriched white families, generation after generation. It funneled power, capital, into their descendants' hands.
And it's not just about inheriting like a specific piece of land or money, is it?
No, it's much broader. It's about the compounding effect, Yeah. The advantage of having capital early on, access to better education, stronger social networks, political influence.
Right.
All of that keeps echoing down the generations, even if the original assets aren't obvious anymore.
Okay, so it creates this momentum.
Exactly, momentum. And there's data. One analysis we looked at found U.S. Congress members whose families enslaved 16 or more people. Their median net worth is around $5.6 million, compared to about $1.1 million for those members with no known slaveholding ancestry.
That's a significant difference.
Yeah, it is. It suggests a tangible link between that historical exploitation and present-day wealth concentration.
So connecting this to the bigger picture.
Yeah.
This legacy is a major driver of the economic disparities we see, right? Like the black-white wealth gap.
Precisely. That gap, roughly $800,000 less wealth per household for Black Americans compared to white Americans, is seen by many economists as a direct consequence.
And the sources, they really emphasize that addressing this isn't just about saying sorry, it's about a material transfer.
That's the core argument from economists like William Darity. He argues, pretty forcefully, that direct payments, actual cash to eligible Black descendants, are the most effective way to close that gap.
Like reparations in other historical cases.
Exactly. He points to Holocaust survivors, Japanese American internees. In those major cases, compensation was cash payments to victims or their heirs.
Okay.
So the idea is that a single substantial boost, maybe around that $800,000 per household figure, could dramatically change outcomes. Homeownership, health, education.
And they argue indirect measures don't really cut it.
Yeah. The sources often frame those as, quote, conscience salves. Things that might feel good, but don't actually move the needle on generational inequality.
So they're talking massive cash transfers, like trillions.
Potentially. The figures mentioned are huge, maybe $10 to $12 trillion, possibly spread over generations, to really aim for wealth equalization.
Okay, that scale is immense.
Yeah.
Which brings up the question of individual responsibility, especially for those who discover they have slave-owning ancestors. What do the sources suggest there?
Well, many economists argue there's a sort of moral obligation, not legal blame necessarily, but a responsibility to support redress.
How? What does that look like?
It can be personal actions, like directly contributing wealth to reparations-focused trust funds or initiatives, setting up scholarships, maybe microgrants for Black descendants.
Okay.
And it also includes advocacy, supporting reparations legislation, publicly acknowledging the family history and its implications.
Like that filmmaker mentioned in the notes, Katrina Brown.
Yes, exactly. She's a descendant of slave traders, and she framed it like, if someone cheated in a game, wouldn't you want the winnings returned?
Right. It's about making up for that unpaid labor, transferring resources back.
That's the essence of the argument, yeah. Direct transfer to address the direct extraction.
So what we've really unpacked today shows this legacy of slavery isn't just some dusty history chapter.
Not at all.
It's alive, actively shaping economic realities right now through generational wealth, inherited advantage. And this call for direct material redress, like cash reparations, is seen by many experts as, well, maybe the only realistic path to genuine justice.
And until that Black wealth is materially rebuilt, you could argue the legacy endures, and true justice, well, it remains unfinished business.
So maybe the thought to leave you with is this. How does diving into these historical connections, seeing the link to current disparities, change how you view wealth and equity in society today?